Hello. I'm Matt Williamson at Williamson NFL. How's it going? We are here to talk about projections. Steelers 53. You know, what we expect it to look like. And then I'll react to it after it happens Tuesday evening, obviously. I'm not exactly going to do mine versus what I thought. That's kind of how I prefaced it last week. But I just want to talk through each position. And the quarterbacks are pretty easy for the most part. They're going to keep three. They're definitely going to keep three. Now, the only question is, other than Rodgers and Rudolph's the two, by the way, guys. Do you put Will Howard and to be inactive week after week after week, as all threes are going to be? Or do you put Will Howard on injured reserve and Skylar Thompson as your three? I don't think it's a huge deal, but I think I'd probably take that approach. I don't know if they will or not. I do think it's interesting, though, that just because he played quite well in the preseason, there's this mass thought that, man, if they let Skylar Thompson go, he's going to get sucked up immediately by somebody else. I don't think he's to that level. You got to think about this. I probably should have even opened the show with it. If Team X cuts somebody, yes, there's a chance they don't pass waivers and somebody picks them up, especially from a bad team. A team that's like, man, our O-line's terrible, we'll pick up anybody. Okay, maybe. But there is more time than ever. But it's not easy just to grab somebody and stick them right on your 53 that you haven't worked with at all. Most teams are going to side in favor of keeping their own, especially at the quarterback position. So my point is, almost everyone passes through waivers after they've been cut. Now, that doesn't mean that here's the other thing I want to make sure we know. If the Steelers cut you and want to bring you on your practice squad, you could tell them no and go to the Chargers or Bears or whatever. You know, then it's up to you. You're a free agent. It's not like I have to go back to the team that I've been hanging with. So if they see a different opportunity, they can take that approach. Okay, just want to get that out of the way. I do think Thompson's played well enough, and unfortunately, you just don't know enough about Howard that I would probably just put Howard on IR and go from there. Which is a shame, because I would love to have seen more of Howard. We all would have, but oh well, it's the way the world works. Running backs, I think, are pretty obvious as well. I think they'll keep three: Warren, Johnson, Gainwell. Now, I would very much like to get Lou Nichols on the practice squad. And I think Trey Sermon as well. I think you want to keep two backs on the practice squad, especially considering you only have three players at this position. And I know, like, Connor Hayward could get you out of a game, but you're a little light in the running back room. Your running back coach isn't as busy as most teams are. Usually there's going to be like a fourth guy there, a fullback, something along those lines. Wideouts. DK's making the team. Austin, Ramon Wilson, definitely making the team. Skoranek, guys, is definitely making the team and will be active every game day because of special teams. He also, I don't think, is a terrible wideout either. I don't know how you cut Scotty Miller at this point. I think he's on the team. My question is, I don't think you keep a sixth as it currently stands. But if you were to add somebody from outside the organization, does that bump your wide receiver room up to 6 players? Or does Scotty Miller get the axe? I lean towards you just keep 6 then. Like if it's Gabe Davis or, whoever, if you make a trade. If you still have these 5 dudes and you add a bigger bodied guy, I think you make this number 6. So I think Miller is pretty safe. Not 1,000%, but pretty safe. ZipRecruiter. Good stuff. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter's smart technology identifies top talent for your roles quickly. Immediately after you post your job, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology starts showing you qualified people for it. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Tight end room seems obvious to me. Freiermuth, Darnell, Jonnu, Connor. That's about it. I mean, even the practice squad's not super exciting. Galbraith did enough. You'd like to keep him around, I guess, but he doesn't move the needle for me all that much. So I think you're going to have those four. And Hayward, like Skoranek, has a lot of special teams value. The offensive line, obviously Jones and Faltanu, Siamalu, Frazier, and McCormick on the inside. Spencer Anderson is definitely making the team as well. I think sort of by default, I mean, we have a bad taste in our mouth with Ryan McCollum this past week, but he's your backup center. I mean, I know Spencer Anderson can do it, but I think McCollum's on the team. I think Pete has done enough to make the team. Guard and tackle versatility is useful. We've seen nothing from Calvin Anderson, but the money implies he's going to be on the team, and I thought he was their best swing tackle, backup tackle before his injury, and doesn't sound like the injury's all that terrible. Now it comes down to me of, does Dylan Cook make the team or not? And maybe that comes down to keeping a 10th offensive lineman versus 6th wide receiver, or we'll get to the defensive side. That side's a little foggier. But I would love to keep Dylan Cook around. But going back to what I said before, you probably get him on your practice squad again. Same with Stephen Jones, the big right tackle. Those are the two guys I would like to keep around in some regard. Max Sharping's another one that you could throw on the practice squad. Kind of know what you're getting. Not much upside, though. I think Jones and Cook have more upside. Let's just knock out the special teamers real quick here before defense. Sounds like Kuntz is fine, so good. That's great. Boswell's obviously your kicker. And I think it'll be Johnston over Waitman. You'd love to turn Waitman into a pick, but I think that's unlikely. Let's just put it that point. That sounds like a little pie in the sky to turn a punter into a pick. D-line. I don't know if Harmon will go on a list or not. I bet not, the more that I look into it. Obviously, Benton and Hayward are on the team. So I think Harmon's just going to be inactive week 1 or 2 or whatever. And therefore, you probably want to keep 7 of these guys. Black is definitely making the team. If Harmon counts, that makes 4. I think Logan Lee has the team made. And the more I've dug into it, I think UK Lee has the team made. That's 6 basically for sure. I guess Loudermilk at least holds on for now. You know, that he makes the finishing 53, and I don't know if he'd even be active on game day while Harmon is banged up for a week or 2. But at least you have that option. But I wonder if Harmon comes back in week 3 or 4 and you need something else, that he's the first to go. Or might you even be looking to add a D lineman? Probably not, but I think Loudermilk probably makes this team. Edge guys, outside linebackers. I think Leal's on the outside looking in, but you could probably throw him back on the practice squad. I like what I've seen from Leota, too. I'd like to see him on the practice squad. Welshoff will be on the practice squad because he's free. And therefore, I think you keep 4. You know, you got Watt, you got Highsmith, you got Herbig, and Sawyer. Sawyer, to me, I would like to know what his special teams value is, because I don't. His lack of athleticism and edge bending is problematic for me. I mean, I think he's really just a banger on early downs, and I've kind of soured on him more and more lately, to be very honest with you. Inside linebacker. I think there's 6 guys fighting for 5 spots. We know Queen, Wilson, Holcomb, Harrison are all making the team. And then it comes down to Bruner versus Mark Robinson. Now, here's where I just don't know the answer. Who's better on teams? I mean, does this one just come down to Danny Smith saying, I prefer Robinson or I prefer Bruner? I think I prefer Robinson as a linebacker, But a lot of dudes have to get hurt for either Robinson or Bruner to actually get on the field on defense. I mean, all those other four are ahead of him. Bruner would immediately go to the practice squad, I would assume. I can't imagine him going anywhere else. So I think you probably keep Robinson over Bruner. Safety. Thornhill, Elliott, Killebrew, for sure. I think Chuck Clark makes a team as well. And Castro goes to your practice squad. But the more I watch Clark, too, I think he's kind of just a banger as well, and not really someone I want playing far off the line of scrimmage, and doesn't run as well as I'd hoped. And he's okay, but I am not anxious about putting big nickel on the field with three safeties just to get Chuck Clark out there or anything along those lines. And then we get back to corner. Ramsey's a yes. He also can get you out of a bind playing safety, and we'll do that even by design, of course. Slay and Porter are yeses, of course. Eccles absolutely has the team made, and I think he backs up all three of those dudes. So any injury to Slay, Porter, or Ramsey, I think Eccles immediately goes in behind them, gets into the lineup. I think Pierre is in. Part of it's because Trice and Bishop haven't done much to really help their stock. But I do think Pierre, in his special team skills, is very valuable. And again, because you have those four corners, it would take several injuries for Pierre to play on defense because of Eccles' versatility. You see what I mean? Like, you would almost need like Ramsey and Eccles to get hurt, or Porter and Slay to get hurt. So as you enter game day, that probably insulates you a little bit from having guys like Pierre on the field, which is the same thing as that Mark Robinson-Bruner conversation. The last guy, I don't think Bishop makes the team because, again, it's just a numbers game. He can only play slot. Ramsey's your starting slot. Eccles is your backup slot. And Bishop hasn't really shown us anything on teams. So I need two guys to get hurt for him to get his jersey dirty. Stick him on the practice squad, or maybe you can swing a trade for him, or maybe he ends up somewhere else on a team. I could see that. That's just the way these things go. I think Kent probably goes to injured reserve. I'd be fine with that. Daryl Porter, I think, is an interesting player. Kind of a late pickup, but did a lot of stuff. I wouldn't mind having him on the practice squad. And then the last decision here is the last name we'll talk about today is Corey Trice. I kind of thought after this most recent game that Trice was out. It's just like, man, we haven't seen anything from this dude. But talking to Chris and others, it kind of feels like he might be closer than you think. He would be inactive immediately in week one, if not longer. And he's kind of somebody just to save for another day. But I often tell you guys, I hate talking about injuries and durability because I'm not a doctor, and I've been in, facilities where the doctors will tell you, man, we're doing everything we can just to keep this guy to get the practice, or, hey, he's just had bad luck, So I think in the end, Trice is on the team, but he could be like that Loudermilk guy too, and maybe a Scotty Miller that, yes, you make the 53. But that doesn't mean you're there a week from now or even 2 days from now. Like, I've told you guys this a lot. I mean, some of those guys that are sweating it out, get the call that they made the team. And then like a day later, this happens on a lot of teams, something unforeseen, a trade, or you pick up someone off waivers that you had your eye on, or you sign Gabe Davis or something like that. And then that 53rd guy that's celebrating gets a call saying, yeah, we cut you, So the 53 is those last two or three, especially that last guy, is still hanging on for dear life well past 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Speaking of which, I will give you something along these lines after cut down day, especially if there's a big surprise. But I have a feeling we have a real good hold on who your Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be in week one in New York. All right, everyone, take care.